So yay, live video. Where you guys want to go? It's up to you guys. Where do you want to go? Which way do you want to start? I mean, I can give you the history of the park that I like, the dig history of the park if you want, but I don't. If you guys want to chime in with some actual history of the park, you want to start? Just walk around.
Sure.
All right, cool.
We're coming up to this cannon here, which is missing one. Its twin sister, which was along the path there, and that's what I was telling Lawrence earlier. In some solves, mine, this would be one of the arms extended because its other one has been relocated. It was taken down for cleaning. It's no longer there.
So this one is the fake cannon. You can tell because of the pipe in the middle of it.
Because of the lip.
Yeah, because right here.
The casting lip.
Yep. So this cannon is completely fake, and I guess they don't know where its sister is?
Probably at the museum.
Probably. But this one came out of the ground too, right? Like,
Supposedly it come from Longitude Lane.
It came from Longitude.
Yeah.
It was right across from Hazel Parker Playground.
Queen Street, there's one buried in the ground for horse tie. And he's got the top sticking up.
And there was something about this story with 1933 as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you recall?
If it was, I don't know if they dug up then or there was something to that story about this cannon and the whole fake cannon story and that it was from 1933 or something.
Right.
I think there was part of it.
Rachel's just like gonna take a nap. All right. So these cannons have always been really popular, mainly because of the white center.
Yeah.
But there's not really much else to tie them. Like, people say that this bar here is the bar that binds, but it doesn't really bind anything.
No.
They're used to, like, as far as I know, they're used to angle the cannons, right?
Yeah.
So. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just could never, in any sense of the term binding.
Yeah. So I guess since we're doing dig stuff too, I know this corner has been dug. This area out here has been probed from the center of the cannon all the way to the street light. There's a power line there, so be careful.
Do these correspond
Why is my camera thing freaking out? I'm just
to
gonna take it out.
the Google Map spots you posted on the 12 Treasures?
Some of them. Not all of them.
Of course.
Yeah, some of them do, but not all of them.
There's a term under some of those stars. When you hover over it, it says something about.
For legal reasons,
For
it was
legal
done
reasons.
anonymously. Yeah.
What does that mean?
For legal reasons that we don't know who did it. So in between that bench and those cobblestones has been dug. There's somebody that really, really likes these grates, because every time I come up, I find new holes, and I don't know who it is or why.
There's a new divot between the palm trees here about your 1 o'clock position.
About 3 weeks ago, I found a new hole right back at that other one, the long shadow. Tyler, where do you think it's hitting that, bud?
Yeah, man, this is supposed to be able to be solved by kids. What do you think?
Yeah. You've seen all the research we have. Where do you think it's at?
You give me a spot, I'll put a hole in the ground. Not right now, but later.
Don't be shy. Get up behind me.
I got my stuff in my truck.
You know just as much as I do, man. You can find it just as much as I could.
Never know.
So basically, the same spots that those cannons were dug at these cannons, in addition to the little corners behind the cannonballs.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember someone posting something about they equated the pear to be the top of the flagpole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen that. So yeah, all in here has been dug out, and like not probed, just dug.
Dog.
So, like back in the day, we didn't care so much about probes. We just came and dug holes.
Dug, yeah.
How far down did you dig?
I mean, we dug a decent amount.
You'll have to make it count.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But the parks didn't care back then either, so I mean, we'd come out during the day and do it. Same with this square here and back in there.
Mommy.
Really, I feel bad for you guys in Charleston. It's like with so much time between me and a couple of other people who live here figuring out there was one here, and the Expedition Unknown episode coming out. This park's been full of holes.
Right.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much left you can dig.
There's a hole over there.
Yeah. Pressure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new one. I don't know.
I told my wife the easiest way to come out here and dig right now is to bring a dog. That's the easiest thing. Let the dog do the digging.
Yeah. So this is one of the only puzzles where I'll get behind the shadow theory, because it's
It
obvious.
specifically mentions it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many palmetto trees.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with all the palmetto trees being here, the hurricanes coming through, how many of them are original?
Yeah.
You know, from 82.
These are all old.
These are old ones. Yeah, they're not good fresh
So
ones.
the only ones that I know of that were ever blown down were over by the cannons on the other side of the park.
Gotcha. So these are all quote unquote original, pretty much.
Yeah, the park is very, very, very symmetrical. So if there's a tree over here, there should be a tree, like a matching tree on that side. Not so much on that side.
Yeah, I got you. Makes sense.
If you find something that's not symmetrical, then something's been changed.
Yeah. My wife was asking me with the hurricanes right there. She's like, "What's the likelihood of these being fresh from you or palm trees?" I'm like, "No,
there are no
nobody's going
chances
to bring these size palm trees in to transplant. You know, these are original ones and such."
So for a while, this was set up for Between Two Arms Extended. It's not really where to dig. There's always been brick there as long as I've known.
Yeah.
I know it's been probed and dug around, but not by me. So I don't know. Yeah, this is, like somebody asked, this is legit. This hard as a rock.
It is.
But if you apply water to it, it makes it a little.
Yeah, we came down during the hurricane once.
The city dug up over there. They had found part of the old walls on the backside of the path back there, and there's a website where you can see that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
And I guess they're redoing the park now, because last time I was here, they had torn up most of this to put in new sod, most of the other side.
The park truly has changed so much. I remember mid-90s, there was an iron structure with grass sod, but here it's like public art.
Yeah.
And you could walk inside it, but it served no purpose. But the appearance of the park over the past 40 years is
I get some decent traffic.
short of the things that stand still.
Downtown.
So around here was EU's first spot. I don't know exactly whose spot it was, but that's where they were focused on when they first got down here. Those palm trees over in front of that white building is Josh Cornell's spot. He dug the crap out of that.
That supports Sumter House.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Douglas Clifton this morning posted a Word document with some interesting things on it.
JFK was here,
Yeah.
fooling around with a German spy.
That's right. That's right.
The thing that's always confused me about this is it has latitude and longitude coordinates on it, but they're wrong.
We have a latitude lane that's on the line of longitude. So for a sailing city, it's got a lot of improper named streets.
Does anybody know anything about this arrow? Like, does it point to something?
I'm not sure.
Is it where the boat sinks?
Maybe. That would explain why the latitude and longitude is not for the city.
It's pointing to the direction.
But is that actual north that it's pointing at?
North is not that way. North is
north is
So
back.
Yes.
So it's pointing to something. So something that's interesting that we found out during travels is most of the parks that I've gone to that have something to do with this puzzle have latitude and longitude coordinates in the park. Somewhere. Here, Lafayette Square has them. Fort Raleigh has them. The Fountain of Youth has them. Like, just about everywhere that I've been has latitude and longitude coordinates somewhere nearby.
Interesting.
Just a little tidbit.
But either like a survey marker or like there's a
No,
big-
it's generally on a monument.
And I assume you've probably been here during the month of April
I have not been here to look at.
Okay.
Somebody had pictures of where it landed.
Yeah. 4 o'clock in April.
I haven't. They asked me to dig some shadow stuff at a certain time in a certain place, whatever, in St. Augustine. It's never made sense to me. So, but here, like, I don't know necessarily that it matters you have to be here on a certain day because you're looking beside a shadow. And with so many lights out here, I really think it's like at night the shadow of a palm tree from a light somewhere.
It's true.
Or,
Yeah.
The orientation of this park in relation to True North, there's shadow sunlight simulators on
Yeah.
the website that you can get a fantastic Google Maps shadow image of this. And again, dial back 20, 40 years, and you can see what it was like basically the deviations from compass stuff back then. Today, if it's a shadow component, it holds a little more merit than actually following a shadow, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock shadow at 82.
Yeah, that corresponds.
That's what the other
Yep. And if you look at the contemporary 4 o'clock shadow, and it does differ from that. That's why a contemporary shadow interpretation would be even hard to find it if you're subscribing to that.
So this way, I guess. I don't know much about this. I don't search out here, so I don't know much about this side of the park. Like I sort of vaguely, like this is how much I know. I sort of vaguely remember that this is a howitzer. That's about all I know.
Lawrence and I were talking earlier, as locals, young guys, we didn't spend a lot of time on this side of the park.
Yeah.
If you came at all to the park, this wasn't the side that you hung out at.
Yeah.
For no reason other than it just didn't do much of anything for you as a kid. You didn't have the cannonball pyramids to climb on, you didn't have more cannons to climb on. That being said, in the early 80s, maybe that would have offered you the cover and concealment you would need to dig and bury something.
There's no monuments or anything down through here. It's just literally a few cannons and that's
Yeah.
it. So
And
everything
then
else is
the one missing cannon, which I don't know the history of that. The one that's like there's a plinth there. There should be a cannon. There's just not. You would think so.
Hurricane, how soft were the paths?
It was pretty soft.
Pretty soft.
It wasn't bad.
you apply, like I said, you apply water. It's,
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't what I would call sand, but you can't get a probe through this. You just can't do it right now.
I
But
can
you-
go my probe right now and show you. You ain't gonna get.
Yeah, you could when it was wet,
Yeah.
but that was about all. I wouldn't want to dig it.
And Chris and I were saying when we were kids in the early 80s, we remember these paths being compact like they are now.
They really haven't changed.
Yeah.
I just remember it that way.
I'm not even paying attention to the shot, so I'm sorry if I'm just getting chests or
You
whatever.
could always supplement it with additional footage
Yeah,
of post-production.
I'm not a director.
So I heard a rumor that may have come from Kit in that the Fort Sumter part of the image, the more important part of that image would be the texture that you see on the home plate versus anything else there. Have you heard anything of that?
I've never heard that.
Okay.
And I've talked a lot to a lot of people about the Charleston painting.
Uh-huh.
I've never heard that.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's true. I know that one of the worst things that you could do as a painter publishing a book is rely on the texture.
Sure.
Because as we've seen from Boston, there's a lot of texture in that painting that we didn't see in the book.
Sure.
So if the texture is important, then everybody's screwed.
Sure. I mean, at its most base level, all you can perceive the texture to be, it really looks like brown blades of grass to me.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can find anywhere here at any point.
So he had my stepbrother.
One thing that does suck about this park is they started cutting all the limbs.
Yeah.
Like the one that used to hang down.
I'm telling you, I subscribe to that limb, although it's not cypress. It almost mirrors the cypress branch from the painting 100%, at least in my opinion.
Oh, what? I can't remember it off the top of my head. What's the name of the park with the monument with the two kids that are holding each other's hand? Washington Square. So JM back in the day had a really good picture of a tree branch that matched up really well
Yeah.
with the painting.
Is that
But-
what draws people to Washington? Or the
No,
obelisk?
I really think in situations like this, it's this park and like the Fountain of Youth in St. Augustine. The reason people stop looking there and here is not so much that there are better matches elsewhere. It's that this has been gone over so much. There's not much of a chance to find it.
Yeah.
So you have a better chance if you're looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
To me, that's
Mentioning the obelisk over in Washington Park, there's the obelisk thing on the picture here. What's your interpretation of that?
That line that
It
goes
looks
over?
like an H almost, is what I call it, an H.
you'll have to show me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered. Yeah, in the middle of the map.
There's a shadow of it just on the one eye. I have it actually, where is it? There.
Oh, that.
It looks, to me, it starts here, goes up, and comes back around. It's,
So-
it doesn't go over the way.
One of two theories. I used to think it was very important until I walked into Brett's house. Brett's house. Brett has a wife who's from South Africa, and they have a lot of artifacts from South Africa. They have a lot of African masks, and all of them have that design in them.
Yeah, if you,
Now-
I looked them up, and that mask is almost, other than the peninsula in the head,
Yeah.
and the dots over there,
Yeah.
that mask is identical to the
Two
mask.
the
arches,
Yeah, I've seen that.
the thing under the eye,
Inside the
everything,
eye.
even
Okay.
the shape of the eyes,
Yeah.
that like
So I used to think, like
It had
when
significance?
when I was
Yeah.
digging over there,
Yeah.
I used to think, oh, these barriers. That's what that is. I don't give it so much credit anymore because
So
they're
what
all
I'm
over
hearing
the
is
maps.
that's a typical thing in African
the actual
masks.
Yes, but whether or not it's a clue, I have no idea.
Okay. Because a lot of people are saying it's an obelisk and pointing over here. And this
Yeah.
and that. I'm saying,
What
Who knows?
So what led Coy and the EU to dig where they dig? Was they think the slit
Slit was the
was
eye.
was one of the eyes?
That's what they said on the episode.
I don't see that.
I don't see it, and
Yes.
I didn't talk to them about it.
In the absence of every other visual indicator, and like we said earlier, this painting seems to be void of all visual indicators,
Yep.
or seemingly void of all visual indicators. Why would that be the one? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too small. It's too vague. Like home plate is small and vague, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that small and
mask
vague.
style.
And it
You know.
certainly isn't. I mean, in the context of the leg in Boston, the leg sliding in,
Yeah.
and there's a home plate. To
Yeah.
me, that
Once you know what it is, you know that's exactly that. And you with the drain holes in this monument, it doesn't hold the same water.
no.
So like this is where my dig knowledge starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I've always been curious about, I've never been able to find a picture of this bandstand in the 80s. I heard it had like bathrooms underneath it and stuff.
Yeah. I got pictures of it.
Oh really? I'd
Yeah.
love to see them.
Yeah.
And I think there's one in that Fort Sumter or that
book.
battery book I
Yeah.
published.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was just taller than this. And,
more raised up.
Let's go around the left side.
Yeah.
okay.
Because that's where the doors were.
Yeah. There were two. There was a men and women's room and bathrooms in here, and then they eventually shut them down and renovated them.
What's interesting, right here where this little window is,
Yeah.
There was a whole step down. You walk down in there.
Right.
This whole base is new.
Yes.
Yeah.
oh crap. Oh well.
This is all new.
Tried. Yeah, I read about the renovations, but I was never able to find pictures.
Back in the 80s.
It's painted like a gray sheet. Chip gray.
It's a sign. Stand and listen to the trees.
Yep.
Yeah, but was the
It's always there. It was
the ceiling was always there?
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Huh. Well, okay.
I mentioned this briefly in what I uploaded. As we get to the Sims thing, there's a couple of interesting things as the park changes.
I've always had that thought too.
I pressed the wrong button.
Maybe he just didn't know that.
There we go.
Sims used to have a concrete curb around them, and it was an actual flower bed in the 80s.
Oh, was it?
It was. I've got a picture of it.
Huh.
And it's probably in your race picture.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing that I like about the community most. Like, I've never been able to find that kind of stuff. and just to know that like a group of people can come together and find
The
it.
red bricks came about the same time, early 2000s, that this was, and that's why I don't think it would have been buried here. But an interesting thing about Sims that I came up with is his most famous work is the Yemassee. If you take the words tales, tunes, old, all that from that first paragraph of the verse and search the Yemassee, you get keyword hits of like 176 times. And at that point, to me, it becomes statistically significant that those things tie in as him as a romanticist author. But I don't know.
That Japanese hits, they
Correct.
they said romance. Don't think of it as we do now, but
It's not lovey-dovey.
medieval
No, they say,
romance or Middle Ages Europe.
Yes,
romance,
yeah, Europe,
which
the European
are
understanding.
usually like a rags to riches type story.
Oh, okay.
With somebody. Best way I could describe.
He
like,
was nobody before he became a lawyer.
right.
Yeah.
So it's more of a story of like that journey than it is like the chivalry
Oh, okay.
type stories that it became.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what led me through like the documentary theater and the like Gadsden Wharf and like the Slave Mart and all that stuff. And the Slave Mart's got a triangle on it over one of the archways. There's a bunch of stuff like that. There's an old Mason building that's a bank now that's got a monument from 33 in there.
The reason I was so curious about can we FOIA when they did this, all the paperwork. I really want to get in touch with the construction company because I work construction management for the Coast Guard. One of the things we do is we take site pictures, site surveys.
Yeah.
It would have been surveyed. So there must be imagery from the time they did it. Which
And I mean, I don't think that's information that would be like private or anything. You could submit a request. and,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. Secondly would be the construction technique. Did they add earth to that area? Now we talked earlier about how you had probed and what's been dug and what hasn't been. My concern is if it was in the park and under that brick there, you can't dig it.
Yeah.
But at least we could understand what kind of construction techniques went in. And that's why when we spoke on the phone, I'd love to GPR the walkway because that's the only way we can probe it,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Well, Steven, the guy that was at the Fountain of Youth with his GPR, he's going to try to make it available to people, I think. And whenever he's down, I'm sure
Yes.
he'd do it for you.
Sure.
Yeah. So, let's see. Where's the infamous payphone that people like? It's over there, right?
Right there.
Yeah. It's weird. Oh yeah. And somebody wanted me to get a picture of where the trash cans are over here. Like this concrete.
Yeah.
It's just where they keep trash, right?
Somebody a couple weeks ago wanted me to take pictures of this whole brick structure right here. The electrical panel box and stuff. They wanted pictures of all of that. Okay.
Something tells me they weren't looking for treasure. So yeah, here's this. Oh, so it's electrical boxes. Okay. Don't dig here. You will die. All right. And here's what EU says is hear the cool, clear song of water. Which I thought these were another decent match for the thing in the forehead back in the day.
Yeah.
That's been dug.
Yeah. Probably not significant, but
The flower.
yeah, Daisy.
Yeah.
Pointed out, it's cool.
It is cool.
It's something that's in the picture.
So I don't know what's been done around here. Nothing that I know of. The inside of those two bollards was dug out a long time ago.
Yeah. So this was actually knocked off of here by automobile accident at one point.
Oh, really? Is that when they installed these?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
91. So
Oh.
I was searching the Post and Courier archives and found a picture of it being, knocked off.
It's another interest. Like in the Fountain of Youth, somebody, a Pepsi truck ran through the Coquina Wall and
Oh,
knocked,
really?
knocked a good bit of Coquina Wall down. People should
And
learn to
always
drive.
Coca-Cola. There's some people in the community that think, what is it, right here?
Yeah. Now that I know there's like high voltage wires back there, I don't know that I would dig. Finally get a chance to see this bar that I've been talking about though.
Oh, is there one on this one?
Yeah, there's one on this one. So most of the benches around, like away from the water, they haven't rusted out.
Yeah, you can
So there's a bar on the bottom
bar right there, yeah.
and there's a bar up top.
That's a traditional
Usually.
battery bench.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
So and literally all these bars do is hold the bench together and make it more rigid. Yeah.
Do you think these birds are the birds on the wings?
I do. I mean, I think it's pretty. If not, it would be a big coincidence.
Yeah.
I mean, that. Yeah.
Every city bench.
Yeah, every city bench.
Uh,
Like not even just city, like some private benches, private
Yeah,
residences
no matter
have
where,
these
right.
benches. Yeah.
Yeah, you see them, not just here, but,
But-
Viney's on Pink Street. There's a Indian
Yeah.
store you can buy it.
So,
But see, my question is, if you didn't come here all the time, or if you didn't live here, would you know that?
exactly. That's what we were just talking about. How long did he stay here? Like,
Yeah.
how long did he get a lay of the land?
Yeah.
Like in the 80s, we were talking. Like,
you can find pictures
don't
in the 80s of these
go-
benches.
You don't go north of Broad Street in the 80s.
It's
No.
pretty
You
damn
know,
spot on.
like, but then again, did he know that? Did he just go where he wanted?
Well, I heard in the
You know?
80s, even this park wasn't that great.
No.
Yeah, it was
It was kind of run down.
it
Right.
was run down, and this grass wasn't even planted. This was, pretty much dirt all up in here.
Yeah.
Right.
Weren't a lot of flower bed planted, nothing like that.
Yeah, that's becoming sort of a pattern. That these parks that are suspected, they were run down nothing parks.
We were talking. I posted that one article about how this park was not the place to be in
Yeah,
the evening.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
You were fine during the day, but this wasn't the place to
It
be.
still gets a little shadier.
I mean, could you imagine? New Orleans is dangerous now. Could you imagine wandering around
Yeah, 40
Lafayette
years ago.
Square at 2:00 in the morning?
Right.
Yep. But in that same context, if anywhere you could bury a 2 at night, nobody's going to question what you're doing here.
Exactly.
If-
That's the William Washington house. He's George Washington's cousin. And that's one of your original houses in Battery.
But this is what most people assume to be the White House close at hand, right?
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the second or another interpretation of the Japanese clues because Lawrence and I were talking this morning. There is ambiguity. Is it A or the? And if it's one or the other, or is the clue the fact that neither? Because if I came out and said it's a White House that looks like the White House or has similar properties, you would look for a 4-pillared or 4-columned house and say, well, that's our White House.
Yeah.
I think if it was referring to the White House, it would be all capitalized too.
Well, isn't there another building in Charleston that was modeled after the original White House? Or am I thinking of or is it like the original Capitol building or something? It's downtown. And it's like
what you're talking
a
about.
podunk know nothing building that you wouldn't know
Yeah.
unless you read the monument.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of
That's
pillars, I
I
think
think
of
it's
the
right by the courthouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know what you're talking about.
We had a builder that did the Washington Monument, the obelisk in D.C. He was from here. He was a builder here. So
Yeah.
he did something at Washington Square. He did design something there, and
See, and that's Washington Square is the reason I remember this building because when Rachel and I were down last, we went to Washington Square to take some pictures, and the building's like within sight.
yeah,
Right.
It's right there.
yeah.
I don't remember if it was the White House or like Capitol building or I don't remember what it was.
There's one further down Broad Street. I know what you're talking about. It's got big columns up front.
Well, no, this one doesn't look anything like this.
Okay.
It's just a building you wouldn't know. I'll take a picture and put it on Facebook while I'm here.
Of course, the cross in the main Church Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's an X, Meeting Street. Isn't King Street's around here somewhere?
Yeah, well, there's
Back there.
Meetings just went up, and then
Meeting,
and then King's
and then
next.
King.
Yeah.
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 And the pirates were buried under Church and Water Streets.
Yep. Yeah, low tide.
Yeah, they were buried at low tide. So at high tide they'd be underwater, and low tide they'd be on dry ground. So that way their souls can rest.
Yeah. And they're, I think, turned face
Down?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can say from the Sims Monument back, the entire park was GPR'd by EU.
Both north and south
Both
section.
north and south sections, the whole
Wow.
park. The quote I got was, "We are under NDA. I cannot talk about specifics, but if you saw the area on the show, odds are it was GPR." And the way it was put forth was like, if you saw us standing anywhere near the general area, we did that whole section.
Yeah. And obviously, they're not in the business of not finding anything. As many jokes that go around about
Yeah.
Mission Unknown. They GPR, or they likely dug the most significant GPR hit.
Well, who was anybody out here with you? Because I've heard multiple things. I've heard that they dug a lot of holes. I've heard that they were allowed to dig one hole.
Yeah, I've heard.
And what EU told me was they were able to probe a lot, but they were only allowed to dig one hole.
That's how Corey put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he came with multiple, and that was it. They let him make one spot.
And I feel really bad when that episode aired. And they put the shovel in the ground over there on the live stream that we were doing on the website. One dude was just like, "That's my hole. There's a brick there." That's what they found. It was a brick. It was his. They had, yeah. Well, they had found the bad area, the area that was different than GPR because he had just dug that hole.
Yeah.
So odds are, if you're digging a hole out here, somebody's already dug it. And it was recent too. It was like weeks earlier.
It already looked like anomalous.
So this is the Steed Monument. I never understood this
Yeah.
because people relate it to an On the 8.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't say anything.
I have that right here. On the 8th scene.
Yeah, but what I mean is, if you
You wouldn't know it.
you wouldn't know it if you had to
have to
research
You have to
what
do
this
research.
is.
Yeah,
Very first line.
on November 8th. All right.
So that's where that.
I don't think we would have done that. He's grabbing clothes as he's walking around.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, in the,
Research, not in depth.
well, like I said in the last podcast, you look at Chicago, you look at Cleveland, you look at Boston. You really didn't have to open a book.
Yeah.
Wow, that's true.
He goes to a park, he's going to see something, he's right down with the
straight up.
blues, he's
Yeah.
bury it.
But if this is legit on the 8th scene, November 8th. But okay, if this ain't it, what else?
I'll show you.
Count them.
I'll show you. Well, at least I'll show you what I think. I don't know. So this hole on this side of the concrete and the other side of the concrete has been probed, not dug. And over there by the palm trees have been probed, but not dug. And there's a water line that runs on that side of it. You can tell by the fire hydrant. Yeah. But you just can't make this. You just can't do it.
It's heavy due to the heavy structure back there.
This is where the focus of like 2 years of digging was. And it's mainly because of the plaque that I was showing you guys earlier about this cannon being embedded in the sand. In fact, when me and John were down here, me and JM were down here once, we didn't leave this area. So here's the cannon and the plaque.
So you're saying the 8 ties something here, right?
Over there.
Oh, okay.
I know there's only one bar here that binds this whole thing together. It's this one. So we dug here and then there because I didn't know what that was. And I just dug it anyway. Dug all out front. Actually, I got really mad once because I stuck a probe right here and I hit something and it was flat and it was about the right depth and I had to leave because I had to go to work the next day. I waited like 2 months and it was the only thing on my mind. And I came back and I dug it up and it was this big, weird, square, flat gold rock. And I took it. It's probably somewhere over there. It's huge. That's something I'd never seen before. Anyway, so we were digging here, we dug over there. Over there is where we found the plexiglass. Look at
white caps.
I hope Rachel would never change this.
Yep.
There's a missing palm tree here.
Yeah.
There was a symmetrical one. Actually, one on both sides, I think. And then the artillery shell monument was somewhere right over there.
Yeah, I've got a picture of that.
Yeah. So,
There's a restaurant. 17 passengers.
Yes.
Go in there, look at the pictures.
Is it?
See that?
this is a big thing with the wiki. They think that the cask is buried here and was destroyed or is underneath all of this. There's a newspaper article, supposedly on 12 Treasures, that's all about the removal of the capstan. And what they dug is they dug straight down, they cataloged everything that they found.
They dug deep.
And then they, yeah, so they didn't find a cask. So if it was anywhere around here, it's still here.
I'm not mistaken. Wouldn't I say that the cask would be hidden 5 to 10 feet away or something?
No. Byron never said that. So Byron, like a lot of things that you hear Byron said, hey, we're just assuming. He didn't talk a lot about this company.
Makes sense. Not your secret.
You get to divide somewhat, and I'm just and remind you know, he released it, it didn't get the fanfare that he thought, moved on to the next project.
Exactly.
Well, that was fun.
Exactly.
And put it behind him.
So, if you walk up to this monument from the front, and you're looking for an 8, it's the first thing you see. Count them. So you count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8. How does that help? I don't know.
It's a scene.
But that's also, for the longest time, the panel that people thought was the forehead of the lion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it help? I don't know.
Makes sense.
But it also, like, there's an arm extended here, sort of. There's an arm extended there. Some people also think it's the Jasper Monument with the arm extended.
Right.
Anywhere between there, you've got plenty of places to dig. Back in the 80s, not so much anymore.
Is that the guy who made this?
I would assume it's the artist.
Chris told me it's 150 feet between both statues.
It's possible.
75 is the middle, and then the gemstone painting, it looks like there's a number 75 in it.
Type in the 60s like the rest of all the Civil War monuments.
Yeah, so I took a laser measure, and like Lord was saying, it is 150 feet to the inch between these two arms extended.
Does this say anywhere on it, like the Confederate Defender? Oh, it does. Yeah, okay. I just noticed it says it over here too. I never noticed that before. Attributed to the Confederate Defenders of Fort Sumter.
In the midpoint between these two arms have been here since its burial. I moved away from subscribing to that theory, but it still it fits. But if it's been GPR, now that's the thing. Why I'd love to see their GPR.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll ever see it. So if you don't trust it. That's what I say. Just don't trust it. Know that it's been done, but don't trust it. So what? That's Gates' hole, right? Right there?
Yeah.
Is it over there? Oh. Gates' freaking Milwaukee hole is still there. Yeah. Fill your holes, Josh Gates.
Gosh, is that a better example? Right there.
It's crazy.
So, yeah. So I've got pictures that show its approximate height, and you can still pick from the picture pictures, I mean, you can tell already which one is the longest one, right? This one is obviously the oldest. But we haven't had some good conditions because in '89 we got Hugo, and then it snowed. We have hurricanes ever since. To think that they're growing to peak every year would be an exercise.
Well, I'm gonna end this live stream and then I'm gonna get Rachel a jacket because she looks cold.